Good morning, Mox, and welcome back to the Weekly Report. I'm John Nocita.
And I'm Bryan Perera, and this is your Campus Weekly News Show.
From honor speakers to Lakeland Swans and the MLB playoffs, there's a lot to discuss, so let's get into it. This is your Weekly Report. On Thursday, October 26th, Dr. Montgomery, a teacher in the science department, will be giving a talk on the case for computational chemistry in partnership with the Association for Honor Students here on campus. You'll be able to hear from Dr. Montgomery, ask questions, and interact with fellow students both within and outside the science-related majors. The talk takes place at 4 p.m. in Christopherson 109. This event counts for passport credit and honors event credit and is open for all to attend.
Next week, the entire FSC community will celebrate the completion of the first half of the fall semester with fall break. Students will travel across the continent and the world, either on their junior journey, another school trip, or simply just to return home. If you have any experiences or pictures that you would like to share from your fall break, please reach out to us by emailing floridasoutherntv@gmail.com or DMing our Instagram at floridasouthern.tv.
The Monday after fall break, ACE will be sponsoring a Botany Cats De-Stress event to ease students back into academic work. Botany Cats is a local Lakeland business and Florida's first mobile cat adoption lounge and plant nursery. They travel to venues all over the city, and now they are once again coming to our campus. If you would like to sign up to visit the Cats, sign-up slots are available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Engage or Cork page for this event.
Last Thursday, the Center for Student Involvement hosted hundreds of students on the trip to the popular Universal Studios event, Halloween Horror Nights. Students were able to purchase tickets to this event at a discounted price the month prior. The group stayed from early evening until when the park closed at around 2 a.m., engaging in spooks, scares, and more. Discover Florida organizes several of these events each year, including additional discounted trips to Disney Springs, the Straz Center for the Performing Arts, a Detroit Tigers game, and much more. To learn more about Discover Florida, visit their webpage on the FSC website.
And now we take you to some news right here in Lakeland. Emma Lauren Poole attended the Swan Roundup and got to meet some of our favorite waterfowl friends. Over to you, Emma.
It's that time of year again when the city of Lakeland brings in all of its famous swans for their annual checkup. We're here at Lake Morton. It's about 7 o'clock this morning and the Swan Roundup is about to begin. Since 1957, the swans have been a staple and icon of the city of Lakeland. They were gifted to the city by Queen Elizabeth II. And given their royal history, the city has always prioritized treating the swans with the utmost importance. For the last 43 years, this has included the annual Swan Roundup. City of Lakeland digital content creator Jamin Smith understands exactly how this event works. He's also here to capture footage for the creative content that will be produced by the City of Lakeland.
Well, today is all about the swans. So we're kicking off the 43rd annual Swan Roundup here on Lake Morton. And so how it works is day one is all about rounding the swans up. So we have about roughly 75 swans that we need to round up. City crews from the Parks and Recreation and Cultural Arts Department are all around the lakes, on boats, everywhere, just to make sure that the swans are safe in the process. And so today is about rounding them up, day one, and day two is about the checkup. And that's where they're brought out of the holding pens, as you see here, and they're checked on by the local veterinarian from My Pet's Animal Hospital.
Every year, the City of Lakeland, Parks and Recreation, and a local veterinarian, My Pet's Animal Hospital, come together to make sure each of the swans is at tip-top health condition. The first day sees all of the swans be caught by Parks and Recreation employees and put in the pens where they will wait overnight for their exams the following morning. It almost feels like a swan rodeo as the City of Lakeland Parks and Recreation employees go out on the boat and use dip nets to catch the swans. Here's what the swan catching process looks like from on the boat. On day 2 of the event, the veterinarians and team from My Pet's Animal Hospital began arriving at Lake Morton around 7:30 a.m. Today, each swan will be checked with the microchip. They will be weighed, and their records will be checked, and any previous or pre-existing conditions will be checked up on.
So we give every swan a individual physical exam, just like we would any dog or cat that came in to visit us. And we look for similar things. We look for sores on their feet. That's a condition called bumblefoot that happens if they're either a little too fat or walking on the roads too much, because their feet are not designed for asphalt by any means. And we check their eyes. We've seen eye infections in the past. Some of them do live with a little bit of damage from previous eye infections. So we check how they're coping with that, make sure they're not losing any weight. And we take blood samples on some of the older ones to make sure they're not developing any health conditions. We also give them a dewormer injection and scan their microchip and make sure we have a good head count for who's here. All right, heart sounds great. All right, what's our ivermectin dose?
0.18.
0.18, perfect. Just feel a little. I love just getting to see them year after year and getting to know some of them. There was one year back when Willie, our South American black-necked swan, we were actually doing an interview, and he pooped all over my husband while he was holding him in front of the camera, so that was kind of funny.
Not only is the annual Swan Roundup important for the swans, it's important for the city as well. The entire city, including residents and local school children, come together to make sure that the swans are doing well. On day 2, local residents have the opportunity to even hold a swan and help Dr. Dixon and her team as they give the swans their examinations. This has several purposes. Of course, to get all hands on deck during the exams, but also to teach local residents about the importance of the swans and to allow the students to have an up-close and personal experience with the animals that they would not normally be able to have. This event and the swans themselves also give Lakeland residents like John Moen a sense of pride about their community.
It's very exciting to see a wild animal, which you assume is wild, but when they pick them up and gather them, they're not as wild as you would imagine. They're not people-friendly, but they're not really afraid. And I love it when they come down and give them vaccinations and they hold them and cuddle them. That's kind of cute.
Once all 50 swans received their medical exams and they took one last group picture with everyone who helped make this event a reality, the last swan waddled back off to Lake Morton until next year. This has been Emma Lauren Poole with FSC TV. Back to you.
Thank you, Emma. And John, I wish someone would just catch me the way they rounded up all those swans. But now moving on to national news, the Canadian smoke that has covered northern United States over the summer has officially made its way down to Lakeland, Florida. The fire, which started in Quebec in late June after a lightning strike, continues to burn to this day. People who have trouble breathing, heart or lung disease, older adults, and children should exercise caution when breathing this air for extended periods of time. For updates on the current air quality, visit airnow.gov.
Do you believe that extraterrestrial life is out there? Well, if you have video evidence to back it up, you may have an opportunity to win $1 million. Ring doorbells are holding a contest asking Ring device users to capture any evidence of extraterrestrial life. The only catch is that it has to be captured on Ring doorbell devices. And for those who are skeptical, well, don't worry, you have a chance to win a prize as well. Ring Doorbell is offering a $500 Amazon gift card to the most creative fake alien capture. Submissions are due by November 3rd.
On to some sport news. The MLB playoffs are in full swing with multiple teams having already advanced to the NLCS and ALCS with only one second-round matchup remaining at the time of recording between the top-seeded Braves and the fourth-seeded Phillies. Currently, the Phillies are on top in the series with a 2-1 lead going into a home matchup just after the time of recording today, where they will look to make it to their second straight NLCS. The teams who have already advanced to the third round of the playoffs are the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros in the American League, and the underdog 6-seeded Arizona Diamondbacks in the National League, having defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers. Both the Diamondbacks and the Rangers are undefeated so far in postseason play and will hope to prevent their higher-seeded opponents from advancing to the World Series. Make sure to tune in into the ALCS action that will begin this Sunday, October 15th.
Well, it is sure to be an exciting playoffs. I can't wait to see how everything shakes out. But now moving to hockey, the National Hockey League started their season this past Tuesday, kicking off their quest to win Lord Stanley's Cup. The first game of the season featured the Tampa Bay Lightning hosting the Nashville Predators. Lightning's forwards Nikita Kucherov and Nicholas Paul scored 2 goals each in the 5-3 Bolts win. The defending Stanley Cup champions were also in action Tuesday night, raising their cup banner before defeating the Seattle Kraken 4-1. Each team will play 82 regular season games, and the playoffs will be underway by mid-April.
Now finishing off with some global news, Israel has declared war on the organization known as Hamas after their surprise attack on October 7th. Hamas has controlled the Gaza Strip for some time now, and while they have been known to be an anti-Israel Palestinian organization, this is the first time they have breached the border of Israel this severely. At least 900 Israelis were killed in this initial attack, and many more were kidnapped and displaced during the invasion. Since then, Israel has retaliated with missile strikes targeting the Gaza Strip, killing at least 830 and displacing over 100,000. It is unclear how the rest of the conflict will be handled, but aid organizations are scrambling to assist those affected by this conflict.
We'll be sure to bring you more on that as the story develops, but as for now, that is all for this week's edition of the Weekly Report. I'm Nocita, joined by Bryan Perera, saying thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.